A Bitcoin ETF approval today on January 10th, 2024. I have a huge warning for you. Yes, this is very exciting. People are going to make a lot of money in a short amount of time, but I want to give you the facts, figures, numbers, logic, and how not to get wrecked in this crypto market. My name is Coach JB. What I work to do is make complex macro and microeconomic strategies very simple so the normal everyday person can implement them. We've been indoctrinated very deeply since the 1900s to not understand how money, currency, moves through the system. So that's what I hope to do on my channel here, from my family's heart to yours. I love you and I appreciate you. So as I share with you guys all the time, we get thousands of messages. We created a free resource, two free resources. One is a free consultation with my licensed insurance team, teaching you how we insure our wealth during these volatile times, securing our principal, and when crypto booms, we secure in what's called index universal life. We've been using it for years. It's worked very well for us. So in the description down below, you can set up an absolutely free consultation to ask questions to get your family set up for the future. There's also a 16-page absolutely free guide on exactly how my blueprint is set up. And you can also apply for our academy. That is a paid academy. It has helped over 8,000 people since 2020. So if you're tired of trying to figure all this out and you want support, we got you. All right, so let's dive right into this. So I'm going to take you guys on a little bit of a deeper narrative, as everybody wants to do. They want to hype you up around Bitcoin and all the things happening. Yes, this is very, very exciting. But what I'm here to do is to kind of deflate your excitement a little bit, not for negativity, but to raise your frequency. Family, nobody, no influencer on here has insight. They're lying to you. None of us have insight on what the big money is doing. All we can do is do the best we can to navigate these emotional cycles. So that's a key word. Write that down. Emotions. Remove them from these markets. The hype train is here. So I'm going to take you through. First, they resist it, then they sue it, then they regulate it. Okay. So let's pause for just a moment. We're in a high interest rate environment, high inflation. America's buried in debt. They can't pay for critical services. They think there's going to be a soft landing, not a hard landing. They're going to avoid the recession by printing money again. I promise you. What's going to happen is on the back end of this year, and you need to pay attention to this. Yes, there's the Bitcoin ETF, there's a Bitcoin halving, but on the back end of this year, when they lower interest rates, your assets are going to go through the roof. And on the back end of this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm doing. I'm exiting these markets. Everybody's like, HODL, hold on. You want to hold on and come crashing back down like 2022? Absolutely not. You want to pull, secure, compound, grow, repeat the process. So we're first going to go back to a narrative, and then I'm going to take you. I don't know if the Bitcoin is going to get approved today, the Bitcoin ETF. On the SEC, supposedly they got hacked. Like, I think it was 311, it got posted, and all of a sudden they got hacked. It was like, come on, guys. They're doing that stuff they're doing the stuff to pump the price, to pull profits, all that stuff. So you may see a pullback, but this is it, guys. This is a Super Bowl. So I'm going to take you back to Elizabeth Warren's narrative, right, around the crypto banning bill. This is all emotion. They're trying to ban crypto. They're saying, hey, okay, you guys push on crypto. You try to ban it as we get it set up over here. So we're going to flood the market. We're going to get it to come down. We're going to buy more, and then we're going to bring it back up, and then we're going to pull, and we're going to wreck all these people. And then once we wreck them, we'll bring it underneath the banking system. Like, hey, see how everybody got wrecked? FTX, Celsius, all these consumers lost their money in these unregulated markets. Come on into the banks, guys. You're going to come back to this video and you're going to see eventually in a couple years now, Wells Fargo Bank, secure your crypto. All right. So watch this video. I'm going to take you guys on the true narrative of what's happening.
It's like this anti-AML bill that is being helmed really by Elizabeth Warren is picking up steam. What is the chamber hearing about this? What do you think?
Well, first we need to call it what it is. Senator Elizabeth Warren's anti-money laundering bill would effectively ban cryptocurrencies in the United States. This would be detrimental to our national security.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. So we know that she came out with her anti-crypto bill, her and oh my gosh, Jamie Dimon, sorry, the head of JP Morgan. My brain just went blank for a second. Head of JP Morgan, they teamed up, right, during that congressional hearing. And he said, if I was the government, I would shut it down too. Psst, they have their own blockchain technology, JPM coin. Their wealthy clients can invest in cryptocurrency, just so you know. Anyway, so Elizabeth Warren, this is a bill here on December 11, 2023. Warren expands coalition of banking committees support bill cracking down on crypto use in money laundering, drug trafficking, and sanction evasions. This is the key part. That's their narrative. Okay. Money laundering, drug trafficking. So if you bring it underneath the traditional banking system, okay, you'll have your KYC, know your customer. So this is all a narrative to tell the public, because there's only 5% people that have exposure. You guys are watching this. You are the elite of the public. Go ask 20 people about cryptocurrency. Oh, I've heard of Bitcoin, I've heard of Dogecoin. That you are an elite group of people. Do you realize that? Okay, so we're going to listen to Jamie Dimon, so Elizabeth Warren's best friend here, and what he thinks happening with the economy. Okay, this is really interesting. He's going to give us some hints of what's going to happen.
A flurry of deals in healthcare announced this week as JP Morgan kicks off.
So he's going to talk about healthcare and investments and stuff like that. But listen to what he says about the capital markets and soft landing.
Most well-attended investor conference in the industry, the annual JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, underway right now in San Francisco, with more than 8,000 investors and healthcare professionals and 550 global healthcare companies attending and presenting. I spoke with JP Morgan Chairman and CEO Jamie Dimon from the conference, where he said debt capital markets are wide open right now, and there are indications that capital markets activity is coming back this year after a 2-year drought. He still, however, is not convinced of the soft landing to come. Watch.
And I think the table I just sat at for lunch, they were telling me it feels better this year. And as you mentioned, a couple of deals announced this morning. And I think a lot of things will be happening in healthcare this year.
For coming off of this little bit of a drought in capital markets activity, I'm wondering if you're getting a sense that the logjam is going to break this year in 2024.
Yeah, I think you've seen part of the logjam actually broke early last year. So you see IPOs, not as many, but they're coming back, just slightly different types. So a couple of big healthcare IPOs. M&A you're seeing. If you want to do a huge deal, you could do a $30 billion deal, $30 billion financing probably today. So yeah, it's open. So as long as we have, soft landing ideas and credit spreads stay low and markets stay high, you're still going to see quite a few transactions. I always remind people you have pipelines open and close. So yes, it's pretty good today, but you can never quite know. It doesn't take a lot to change sentiment. Right now, the market's expecting, it's kind of priced in a soft landing. You see that in equity prices, credit spreads being very, very narrow. So the good news is the consumer has jobs, wages are going up finally more at the lower end. Home prices are up, which is good for their balance sheet. Credit is normalizing, but it's still lower. Stock prices are up. Consumers in good shape.
Consumers are in great shape. Jamie Dimon, you might want to come out of your mansion and walk around the cities and ask people how they're doing with their $2,700 rent payments. Okay, so let's jump into the big narrative that's happening right now, where you need to practice your emotional intelligence. Not to be condescending, but emotional intelligence means raising your frequency up and not believing all the hype, knowing that crypto is going to go parabolic, but you cannot get caught in the greed gene. I'll explain that on the back end of this video.
The crypto community expecting a call from the SEC any day now on the approval or rejection of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, though approvals are pretty widely expected at this point. Joining us right now and what that could mean for crypto at large, John Palmer is the president and CEO of Digital. It's a separate entity from parent company CBOE Global Markets, which is the listing agent, or I should say exchange, for spot Bitcoin ETFs. CBOE Digital is not involved in the process of launching the ETFs, but it would benefit from their approval. What do you think we're going to hear? And is there a wrinkle in what we might hear?
I mean, I think you've seen quite a lot of progress made really the last couple of weeks. Even yesterday, we saw some back and forth between the commission and the issuers on the S1s. So I think that's good sentiment, right? I mean, progress here is good. You're seeing the agencies engage, you're seeing the issuers engage, and all the filings from the exchanges are all up to date at this point from what we can see. So
let's assume that there's an approval. Do you think there's certain ones that get approved? Do you think it's all of them get approved at the same time? How does that work? And then what does it mean in terms of, as they get launched, how much Bitcoin they're going to be buying in the market, what that does to the price? Have we already bought the rumor, sell the news? What's the thought?
Oh, I love that he said that. Bought the rumors, sell the news. You have to write that down, guys. Bought the rumors, sell the news. That's exactly what's happening, guys. The public is buying the news. The elites are buying the rumors and selling the news.
Yeah, it's obviously a pretty big competitive milestone, right? You have quite a few different issuers with filings in. The SEC has different dates for different rule filings on the
Right.
exchange side that they can approve, but it's there's a couple different scenarios, right? They could, as you mentioned, approve a few of them out, or they can approve them all at once. So time will tell, I think, between.
Okay, so we'll see what happens today. It's supposed to get approved today. I don't feel like it's going to get approved today. It was an interesting day on Twitter yesterday where the SEC got hacked supposedly, and it said that it got approved. Then they came back and said that was a hack, and that's just really weird, right? But we're going to listen to this, and this is this guy's price prediction on Bitcoin.
To end on, give me your 1 year and 5 year price target for Bitcoin.
I think in the next 12 months, something over 100,000, maybe 150,000. And, in the next 5 years, again, there's a finite supply. And now we have a potentially huge increase in demand with a spot Bitcoin approval. So I think in 5 years, something around 500,000 would be potentially achieved.
All right, here's where the emotion comes in, guys. 500,000, 250,000. The influencer is going to tell you it's going to go to 300,000. Guys, all you need to do is focus, okay? You need to get fundamental about your crypto portfolio. If you've never had wealth before, you have to listen to me very intently right now. You have to create an exit plan, guys. I'm here to tell you that we saw thousands of people get wrecked from 2021 to 2022 as this thing came collapsing down 85%. Let me ask you a question. Do you think JP Morgan, do you think BlackRock, do you think Fidelity gives a flying shit about your retirement? Do they think they care if you get rich? Absolutely not. They are here to make their clients money. You're playing in the market that they don't want you to play in. It's unregulated, right? So they are going to buy the rumors and sell the news. So most people in the public are going to be making decisions based on the news, just like that type of stuff. So what you do is you say, okay, I'm taking the greed gene out of this. Okay. I'm taking the greed gene out of this. I'm going to set up an exit plan and I'm going to pull. Now, here's what changed the game for me. So I went through the first cycle, which was 2020 to 2022. And this is how I set myself up. Now I'm in a totally different paradigm because like other influencers and people in crypto, when crypto was booming, they were rich. And when it collapses, they have to do a bunch of sponsorships. I have zero sponsorships. I've never been paid by a crypto company because I stayed focused on God and intentions. Okay. And I built my own ecosystem because I never wanted to be in a position where I had to rely on crypto. But I'm very bought in to the idea of crypto, but I know it's extremely volatile and this is the greatest opportunity in human history. Okay. So all of you go down below and download Merlin. It's 30 days free. I'm one of the creators and co-founders, 36,000 lines of code. Here's why. I'm very proud to share my products on here because these are all things that we've developed. Everything I talk about is something I own. Okay. So Merlin, 30 days for free. You're literally going to set up your exit plan. You're going to practice, even if you do it for 30 days free and cancel, but I guarantee you'll keep it because it shows you all your cryptos, daily gains and losses on one place. Okay. We don't hold your keys or combos. It's completely safe. So you're setting up an exit plan. So what I am doing currently, let me bring myself bigger on the screen so I can look you in the eyes. Okay. So what I'm doing, and I share this every video, and I hope that you watch this over and over again, because I promise you what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. Okay. So I have a fundamental crypto portfolio. I have some shit coins in there. If shit coins go parabolic, I'm pulling profits big time. I'm exiting 50% of my portfolio as it goes up. I'm holding 50% long-term legacy. Okay. So as it goes up, so let's pretend the 50% is 100% now, right? So we'll use XRP as an example. A lot of us are big XRP holders. So if it goes to $3.70, I'll be exiting about 10 to 15%. There's some variance there. I'll make decisions based on, where I think the markets are going to go. Then if it goes to like $5 to $7, I'll exit another 10 to 15%. You see what I'm saying? There's exit targets. There's no motion to that. I'm pulling. Then when I pull, I personally am max funding my index universal life policies. It's worked for me phenomenal. So when I max fund those index universal life policies, I'm not only protecting my principal. So if the markets come collapsing down, I'm good. You guys, 401k, your crypto, boom, collapses. My principal, I secured it. I can also get market-like returns, 6 to 7%, and I can also borrow against my policy tax-free if it's set up correctly. Very, very, very important. Okay. Then I'll continue to expand in business, go deeper into business, which is the quickest way to wealth. Information technology and attention. Social media is absolutely amazing for business. We own equity in multiple companies, and we've continued to expand consciousness. Precious metals, real estate, and then my relationship with God. That's the number one thing that I'm focused on is my relationship with God. Therefore, building a foundation with my family and working to build and strengthen that relationship, because if all this gets taken away, I'm good. The physical that I'm experiencing is coming from the internal, the relationship, as Jesus talked about, the singular I, right? He said he was going to tear the temples down in the physical, and the temples, it wasn't a physical temple that came back, right? He's teaching us to tap in, tune in, that we are the creators. It's in our mind here. So if you're emotional and you're believing all this hype, you're operating in the worldly things, you're operating in the left hemisphere of the brain. It's time to raise your frequency to the right hemisphere of the brain. Raise it up to that higher consciousness, to that amazing love, frequency, creation, vibration. You are creating your reality, right? You are creating your reality. It doesn't matter what happens in the physical. It matters how you react to what happens in the physical. There's going to be things that happen. There's so many different people within the paradigm, but it's how you react to those things. But the things that you're experiencing, your spouse, your house, your job, your crypto portfolio, everything is from you. You made those decisions. But they taught us this outside in effects is a deep-rooted indoctrination that got us deep into our left hemisphere of the brain. Writing with your right hand is controlled by your left brain, right? Non-creative. Your right brain controls your left hand. When someone uses their left hand or they're ambidextrous, they're hemisync. They're bringing their left and right hemisphere brain together. Okay. When we tap in, tune in, Jesus says, cast your nets to the right. They're in the same boat, same ocean. On the left, there was no fish, but on the right, there was an abundance of fish. And if you add up those numbers, equals 9, which is God. And you look at fish, that represents wisdom. He said, cast your nets to the right. And they cast their nets to the right. Moses went up and to the right of the mountain. As soon as he saw God, he gave him all his iniquities. Speech impediment, blood. God's like, you're up on the right now. You're higher consciousness. You're high vibe, brother. You're high vibe. You are the great. After this, my name is the great I am that I am. Powerful shit, right? Powerful, powerful stuff. Jesus said, don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. Your left hand is controlled by the right hemisphere of your brain. The right hand is controlled by the left hemisphere of your brain. Shall we continue? Jacob said, I saw God face to face. He called it what? Pineal. He fell asleep on a rock, closed his eyes, pineal gland activated. In his dream, he saw a ladder. God was going up and down the ladder. I'm paraphrasing, right? There's so many hints. The Bible is the greatest book ever written. God is so real. Jesus Christ is the risen King. You are powerful. You are strong. You are worthy. You are abundant. You are worth it. You're amazing. You're amazing. You don't have to go to a church when 2 or more are gathered. I'm not saying you can't go to church. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to church. I'm saying when 2 or more are gathered, that is church. You know, I think that's one thing that we need to bring back into America is God. I'm not talking about God, these evangelists on TV and, you know, asking you to send them a bunch of money to buy their, you know, big mansions and their planes and the prosperity preachers. They're preaching physical prosperity. We're talking here, like Jesus said when the disciples went up to him and said, you know, Rabboni, Master, you look hungry. He said, I have food that you don't eat of. I understand what he's talking about. He says, I have food that you do not eat of. God is so good. Jesus is so good. And I'm not talking about a religion, guys. I'm talking about expanding consciousness, oneness together. Whatever religion you are, I freaking love you, man. What if we locked arm in arm and we expanded consciousness? What if we worked together? What if we worked harder on ourselves than we did anything else? All this would go away because they've tricked us to believe that it's external. They tricked us to believe that it's an outside in effect. When you are the cause, you are the effect. Go watch the movie The Matrix again. It's a story of the Bible. Neo, the womb, the matrix. That's what the womb means in the Bible, the matrix. They were sitting in those water, inside the womb. They came into the matrix. And the whole time where you're in this matrix, you're trying to escape it, but you created it. You created it. You're the one, the neocortex, Neo. All right, we'll leave it right there. If you want to check out a little bit more of this type of information, subscribe to my Refined Integrity channel, which is down below in the recommended channels. It's called Refined Integrity, Refining the Modern Man. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together.